Welcome to this GiftWorks video. In this video, I'm going to talk all about Constant Contact integration with GiftWorks. Constant Contact integration was first introduced in GiftWorks 2013. Constant Contact is an email service that allows you to store contact information, including email address and other information like address, employment information, and other custom type information. Constant Contact allows you to then split that information or put those contacts into different lists up on Constant Contact, things like a newsletter list, solicitation type list, interest type lists, and so on. And then after you've created an email, it might be an HTML email that contains images and links and things like that, or it could even be a plain text type email. You're then able to send those emails out to one or more of those lists, and typically larger volumes. We might be talking hundreds or thousands of emails out. And then Constant Contact will help track, number one, how many of those emails were sent, how many of those emails were opened, how many of those emails had clicks inside of them, meaning someone clicked a link inside of your email, how many of them were forwarded on to other users, and so on. Constant Contact will also help you keep track of emails that were not able to be delivered. Constant Contact integration with GiftWorks now allows you to take that information that's being managed inside of Constant Contact, along with the information that's being managed inside of GiftWorks, and connect them together. In the past, other people have been using Constant Contact and GiftWorks, but they've been having to use them independently. And any changes that were made in either of those, either in Constant Contact or GiftWorks, people had to go through a number of different ways of resolving the information that's been updated. So if information got updated in GiftWorks, it would then have to be exported out and then re-imported into Constant Contact. If any information got changed in Constant Contact, it would have to be exported out of Constant Contact and brought down into GiftWorks. Some of you may be saying, well, doesn't GiftWorks already include mailing capabilities? Why do you need to integrate with Constant Contact? And that is true. It's a good question. And to begin to answer that, I want to just go view what GiftWorks can do regarding mailings. So let's head over to the mailing section. I'm going to click on the mailings button at the top. I'm going to just start one mailing. I'm going to pick my welcome letters. It doesn't really matter which mailing I choose. All of our mailing processes can do emailing. So I'm just going to click on the welcome letters. Whenever you start a mailing process, you'll get a choice. Do you want to send a printed letter, or do you want to send something using email? And by using email, you have the option of configuring either using Microsoft Outlook if that's installed on your computer, or you could send mail using your own email server settings. Your own email server settings could include a mail server that you have in-house. It could include, if you use Gmail or Hotmail or one of the other major services, you might be able to use their outgoing email server settings. You also might use a service, something like MailJet or SendGrid or something like that. Once you configure it, you're simply able to, so I'll go through and I'm going to go ahead and click on Next. I'm just going to verify my recipients, select a letter, and in this case I'm going to choose a new member thank you letter. I'm just welcoming new members, or I could be doing a welcome letter to my organization, something in terms of for all new people that got added to GiftWorks, I sent them a new welcome letter, a new member letter, or a welcome letter, and so on. Then I generate the mailing. I can send a test email at this point if I'd like, but I'm just ready to actually generate the emails that need to go out. And now I'm ready to send. So I can just click on send. Now I'm not going to do this just because I don't want to send these emails really out, but I could send the emails now, and whether this was 5 or 50, I could send those emails out. But I want to make an important distinction about these kinds of emails and perhaps some of the emails that you would probably send out of Constant Contact. Emails like, let me go back to our mailing center, emails like receipts, thank you letters, soft credit thank you letters, and so on, even welcome letters. Generally, those are considered more transactional emails, and that may be a new term to you. Transactional emails typically are emails that are sent in response to something. Maybe a person got added to GiftWorks, maybe a person gave a donation, maybe a person made a pledge, and you would typically send those emails in response to that. Those kinds of emails are definitely part of what we built GiftWorks to be able to do. Send emails, transactional type emails, in response to different things that occurred within GiftWorks. Typically, these would be dealing with lower numbers as well. You're probably not going to send 10,000 receipts out or 10,000 thank you letters. Now, certainly there is the cases that that can happen. But generally, we designed GiftWorks to support more transactional type emails. Anytime you got into hundreds or thousands of emails, even though you could potentially use GiftWorks to do that, GiftWorks wasn't necessarily designed, well, it wasn't at all designed to be a marketing email type of solution. Constant Contact and other vendors like that, other email service providers, would refer to them more as email marketing solutions, where you're sending out typically higher numbers of emails, and you also want to be able to track some of the deliverability that I mentioned earlier regarding those emails. Which ones didn't send, which ones were forwarded, which ones had been clicked, and things like that. Constant Contact was designed to be able to do that, and GiftWorks was more designed to be able to handle some of the transactional emails that you're going to be sending. It doesn't mean that you can't send transactional emails through Constant Contact, and doesn't mean you can't send marketing emails through GiftWorks. It just means that in general, on the whole, we believe that GiftWorks is best designed for transactional emails, and a service like Constant Contact is great for marketing type emails, especially with the additional functionality regarding deliverability and tracking and some of the marketing information you may need. And that's why a number of people use Constant Contact in particular. We know a large number of nonprofits use Constant Contact or could use Constant Contact to help them with their marketing emails. And so we've wanted to improve the capabilities, improve the integration between GiftWorks and Constant Contact to enable organizations to spend less time manually syncing the data or synchronizing the data between the two, and provide them with an easy interface to be able to configure and to integrate GiftWorks and Constant Contact together. Well, to get started showing you how they can do that, let me quickly jump over to Constant Contact, give you a little bit of insight into Constant Contact and how some of that works. So let me just bring it up, and let me bring my screen over, and I'm going to log into Constant Contact. If you don't have a Constant Contact account, head over to giftworks.constantcontact.com. We have a partnership with Constant Contact. We're excited about it. We think there's a lot of benefit that we can provide to nonprofits. You can sign up for free in terms of the Constant Contact, your Constant Contact account. You can. I'm not sure exactly how long their trial is, but they also have discount programs for nonprofits. So make sure you keep an eye out for all those things. So I'm going to go ahead and log into an account that I already have, and I'm going to log into MR Emails and put in my password. And so now what you're going to see now, at this point, I already have contacts in Constant Contact. So I actually have 567 contacts in Constant Contact. And I also have 4 different lists. These are called email lists, or just communication or contact lists. These are different ways or different lists that you may use to segment out different donors or different groups of donors. Right now I have a birthday wishes list, I have a general interest list, a golf events, and this Mike's special list. So in that, you may have a newsletter list, you may have other interest areas, and you might have lists, and in each of those lists, you're going to have 1 or more contacts. I also recognize that some of you may not have any contacts in Constant Contact because you may be brand new to Constant Contact and just getting started, and so you won't have any here. And so I'm going to address both of those as we talk about the integration between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. Well, let's head back to GiftWorks, and we're going to get started hooking these two up. So I'm going to go to the settings area to get us started. And when I go to the settings area, under additional settings and tools, I'll find a Constant Contact option. And so I'm going to click on Constant Contact. And the top option, which says Synchronize the Constant Contact, is what I want to do first. I need to connect the two so that I can begin to have that connection between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. If I tried to view email campaigns, it would tell me GiftWorks must be configured to work with Constant Contact. So I need to do this first, and I'm going to get started by clicking Synchronize with Constant Contact. Now I'm going to put in, and it's a 4-step process to hook or to connect GiftWorks and Constant Contact. We do have some links here. Clearly, if you're watching this video, then perhaps you even clicked this link right here. Check out this video. Or if you need to get an account with Constant Contact, you can click that link. We also provide some basic instructions as to what you need to do. But definitely what I need to do is put in my Constant Contact username. This is not a GiftWorks username or anything like that. This is your Constant Contact username and your Constant Contact password. I'm going to put that in and click Next button. So I click the next button. GiftWorks goes out and pulls back all your lists that you have at Constant Contact. And it also provides you with the number of contacts currently in those lists. Now there's a lot of text on here that provides some information as to what options you're going to be choosing right here. Let me talk through it a little bit. And I'm probably going to be saying a little bit of what it says down here, but try to provide a little extra explanation as well. For each list that you have in Constant Contact, GiftWorks is asking you whether or not this list should result in creating new donors in GiftWorks or not creating new donors in GiftWorks. And that's basically the option that you'll choose for each list, either to create new donors or to not create new donors. Let me explain a little bit more what that's about. If you have a website or you send out an email that contains a link for people to sign up, let's say for your newsletter. When people sign up for your newsletter, a new contact will be added to Constant Contact. And typically, they'll be added to what's called the default list in Constant Contact. Now, whenever you create a sign-up form in Constant Contact, you can send out a link or have people sign up on your website to say, here's my email address, here's my first and last name, and these are effectively the lists that I'd like to be in. So maybe a person elects, I want to receive your newsletter, and I also want to receive special information about golf events, and I'd like to get birthday wishes. So maybe they sign up for all of those. That's something that you may have already implemented in your website or something that you may want to begin implementing. Well, one of the things that we anticipated when we built the integration between GiftWorks and Constant Contact was that there may be some contacts in certain lists that you do not want to automatically create as donors in GiftWorks. Let me explain that a little bit more. GiftWorks and Constant Contact utilizes something called bidirectional synchronization. And what that means is this. Any information that's either added or changed in Constant Contact will come down and update information in GiftWorks. And the bidirectional part of that says any information that's added or updated in GiftWorks will then be added or updated in Constant Contact. Updates or adds or additional information that's added in either place, so whether you have changes or adds in Constant Contact or GiftWorks, it's going to attempt to update the other one. That's a great feature, but one of the things that you may not want is you may have certain lists that people sign up for in Constant Contact. So maybe you have a list that's just a general interest list, and you don't really want anyone that signs up for it to automatically be created as a donor in GiftWorks. And if that's the case, then you would say any new person that gets added to the list in Constant Contact, meaning they add themselves, they sign up through your website or things like that, they will not. If you choose the do not create new donors in GiftWorks option, that means they will not be created or not be added as a new donor in GiftWorks automatically. You may have other lists that you specifically want. Anytime a new person adds themselves to a specific mailing list inside of Constant Contact, you want them to be created as a new donor in GiftWorks. Perhaps you're doing things specifically intended, and we provide some description down below. You'll notice it says use this option if you want contacts that get added to your list to be added as donors to GiftWorks. For example, choose this option if you want to build interest lists in Constant Contact and then automatically create new donors in GiftWorks. Versus choose this option, choose the do not create new donors in GiftWorks option if you want to build prospect lists that you do not want to automatically add new donors to GiftWorks. Let me give you a real practical example. Some of you may go out and buy lists of names and email addresses. And if you do that, you may, or maybe you send out, let me say, so you buy an address list and you send out a flyer to all the people in that list that you bought, and you encourage them to come to your website and to respond to something, maybe sign up to be on a special list or on a list to find out more information. You might get a lot of responses, but you don't necessarily want to add all those people into GiftWorks automatically. And so that's what this option really provides. It provides control as to what happens as a result of new contacts being added. So you'll have to think through what the list is, and I think a lot of you probably will just say create new donors in GiftWorks, meaning if you have people that sign up for your newsletter or sign up for an event in particular, you may want to add them as new donors to GiftWorks. But I'm sure many of you too will have lists that you do not want to create new donors in GiftWorks. So those are the choices that you'll make here. I'm going to click on next, and now we're going to actually have to provide many more options or fill out many more options regarding our synchronization. Now, don't let the screen intimidate you. There is a bit of information here that you'll need to choose between, and I'll try to help you as best as I can determine what the appropriate option is. It's split into two major sections. The first one is the following options will be used every time you synchronize, meaning on an ongoing basis, these options will control how GiftWorks and Constant Contact talk to one another. The options down below talk about the first time you synchronize between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. Now, some of you may be struggling with the difference there. Well, when the very first time that we're connecting GiftWorks and Constant Contact together, there are some unique circumstances in which you may want certain things to happen, and I'll talk through those in a second. Let's start at the top and just talk about options that are going to be used on an ongoing basis. Let me first describe a little bit about the synchronization between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. The very first time that we synchronize between GiftWorks and Constant Contact, we will update all the information that's there. So all the donors and all the contacts in Constant Contact. We're gonna take a look at all of them, but on an ongoing basis, meaning after the first time you synchronize between GiftWorks and Constant Contact, we're only going to work with that information that has changed. So the very first time, we're going to attempt to synchronize a lot of the information between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. We'll look at all donors, look at all contacts. But on an ongoing basis, a week later, when you go to synchronize again, GiftWorks is only going to interact with the information that's either been modified in GiftWorks or in Constant Contact. So that information may be helpful as I describe some of these options. So let's start with this top one. What information should be synchronized between GiftWorks and Constant Contact? GiftWorks is asking, to what extent do you want to sync? To what extent should GiftWorks, or let me say it this way, what information should be synchronized? Meaning, we give you the choice: only synchronize email addresses and contact lists. That means the very basic information, just an email address, which is an absolute requirement. You at least need to synchronize an email address. And because in Constant Contact, you're required to at least be in one list, GiftWorks is asking, what do you want to, should I either synchronize only email addresses and contact lists, or do I want to synchronize all the fields between GiftWorks and Constant Contact? Let me describe that a little bit more. Let me jump over to Constant Contact to show you. I'm going to jump into a specific contact. So let me go. And if you're not familiar with Constant Contact, if you spend a little bit of time, you'll get comfortable with it. But I'm going to let's look at me. So here's all the information that you can work with in Constant Contact: email address, first, middle, last name, home, phone, address, city, state, zip, postal code, and country. And so we have all this information, but I also have more information like company information. I have a company name. I have company name, job title, work phone. Under custom fields, you can define a whole bunch of custom fields. So I have a whole bunch of custom fields defined, and then I can have information in each of those. So you can define your custom fields. And then I also have some other options. But in terms of the information that can be synchronized with GiftWorks, we're talking about your contact information, your company information, and your custom field information. The last thing that will ultimately be synchronized also is your list. So right now, I am part of the general interest list, golf events, and birthday wishes. So I'm going to go back now to GiftWorks. Let me go back over to GiftWorks. And GiftWorks is asking me, so back to this question, either only synchronize email addresses and contact lists, or synchronize all the fields between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. Now, some of you may be asking, well, what should drive you to choose one or the other? Well, I think many of you will probably choose this option to synchronize all fields. Any information that's in GiftWorks, you want to be available in Constant Contact so that you can customize some emails, so that you can include custom information or send out personalized emails. That's always certainly a positive thing that people will encourage you to do. Send out personalized emails. Some of you, although, may have privacy concerns, or you may be concerned for some reason that perhaps there's some internal policies or procedures that prevent you from being able to push up any more information than necessary to Constant Contact. And so if you only want to synchronize email addresses and contact lists for privacy reasons, or you never plan on personalizing emails, well, then you can just choose the option to only synchronize email addresses and contact lists, the very basic that we can synchronize. or you can synchronize all fields, the information that I just showed you. There's one other thing. You may, if you're going to be synchronizing all the information between GiftWorks and Constant Contact, you're probably going to want to map custom fields. If you make use of the custom fields inside of Constant Contact, you can then map them to the fields in GiftWorks. So if you have a donor and they have custom field information and you want that information to be mapped to Constant Contact, you can just come here and click on it. Now, I don't have too many custom fields here, but you'd go through and you simply choose a custom field that maps to the custom field in Constant Contact. And Constant Contact supports up to 15 custom fields, and so you can use the available custom fields that you have in GiftWorks to map to the custom fields in Constant Contact. So that's to what level should the information be synchronized. And that's on an ongoing basis. GiftWorks will either synchronize all the information or only the email addresses and contact lists. The second option right here on an ongoing basis says, if a contact unsubscribes from all your mailings, change their email preference in GiftWorks to do not email. There is let me just jump over to a donor real quick. I'm going to jump out of this process. And I'll come right back to this. But for each donor in GiftWorks, there's an email preference. If I scroll down, you see where it says emails welcome, do not email, or no preference. If I said emails that are welcomed, now, and let me go back to that preference inside of Constant Contact, inside of the setup. If I say here, if I check this, if a contact unsubscribes, then what GiftWorks is going to do is, when synchronizing with Constant Contact, if a donor unsubscribes from all your mailings, then you're going to want to change that. This process will automatically update the email preference in GiftWorks, the one that I just showed you, to do not email. That's just that's a convenience option that we provide to you so you don't have to, if someone unsubscribes, that you don't have to manually go into the donor and indicate that they do not want to get emailed. Now, in Constant Contact, once someone unsubscribes from your mailing, only they can resubscribe to a mailing. So sometimes when we looked at this option, we really looked at it and said, this is going to help you make sure that you honor more on the GiftWorks side, because GiftWorks won't stop you if a person unsubscribes from your Constant Contact email lists, then it might not be effective in GiftWorks. But if you have their email preference set to do not email and you go to email them through our mailing center in GiftWorks, GiftWorks will at least warn you that they don't want to be emailed. And so we do this to help you keep their email preference up to date. So those are the two general options that we use on an ongoing basis. So every time you synchronize between GiftWorks and Constant Contact, you'll choose those options. There's other options here. Now we're talking about the very first time that we synchronize between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. And there's two options that we're asking you in particular. The first one says, if donors exist in GiftWorks but are not found in Constant Contact, what should GiftWorks do? Let me explain why this would be used. For some of you who are just getting started with Constant Contact, perhaps you just created an account today. Like I said earlier, you may not have any contacts in Constant Contact. And because, like I said a moment ago, GiftWorks only is going to update donors that have changed or have been modified or have newly been added, then the key is here, what we're asking is, do you want to start the very first time by sending all your donors up to Constant Contact? If you choose do not add donors to Constant Contact, then no donors will be added. And the only ones will get added are either ones that get changed after this point or ones that get added new after this point. So we use a term called seeding, it's spelled S-E-E-D-I-N-G, seeding your Constant Contact. If you would like to seed it, meaning send all your donors up the very first time so that they're in Constant Contact, then choose this option, add donors as new contacts in Constant Contact to the default mailing list. Other than that, just choose do not add donors to Constant Contact. Let me tell you a situation where you may want to do this. You may want to choose the do not add if, let's say you have 5,000 donors in Constant Contact, but you only plan on mailing, or you only want, let's say, half of those to be sent up to Constant Contact. Well, then you do not want to add all of them. You want to choose this option, do not add to Constant Contact. And I'll show you a little bit later how you can then add those donors that you didn't add now later. So you have 2,500 that you want to send up to Constant Contact, but you also have 2,500 that you don't want to send to Constant Contact. So I'll show you a little bit later, but if you want to only send a subset or a portion of your list of donors up to Constant Contact, do not choose this add new donors. This will add all your donors to Constant Contact. So hopefully you can make sure you're thinking through who you want to be in constant contact to choose the right option. Then, this is for another group of you. Perhaps some of you have an existing Constant Contact account, or you have contacts in there already. This question says if donors exist in GiftWorks and Constant Contact. So you have donors in GiftWorks and you have contacts in Constant Contact. Because the very first time GiftWorks is going to be looking to update the information as appropriate, we ask you which information should be used when synchronizing the very first time. The choices are this. Either the information in GiftWorks is the most reliable, so update all the information in Constant Contact. You would use this option if you had the most high level of confidence in your GiftWorks information. This would say every time, the very first time I synchronize between GiftWorks and Constant Contact, if I find someone that exists in GiftWorks and Constant Contact, I'm going to update all the Constant Contact information with what's in GiftWorks. There's another option which says the information in Constant Contact is the most reliable or the most recent. Use this option if you really have a high level of confidence in your Constant Contact information. When you synchronize the first time, GiftWorks will go out. For everyone it finds a match, if it finds a donor in GiftWorks and in Constant Contact, it's going to take the information from Constant Contact and update the donor. So you can understand with both of these why you're going to want to be very careful. Let me explain this last option as well. This one says use the date of the most recent change to determine which information should be used. For GiftWorks, we store when the last time you changed a donor, and in Constant Contact, they store when the last time you changed the contact there. You can use the most recent date to determine which information should be changed. Like I said, with all of these, you're going to want to be very careful because you're going to be overwriting data. You're either going to be taking Constant Contact information and overwriting GiftWorks data, or you're going to be taking GiftWorks data and overwriting Constant Contact data. So make sure you choose very carefully which one to choose. Now, for those of you who are saying, I'm not really sure, or I'm scared, or I'm not really sure what to choose, this last option may be your most safe option. And what this says is only synchronize email and lists. Like I said earlier, the very basic information. Do not sync all the available information. Which means this, the contacts in Constant Contact will remain unchanged and the GiftWorks donors will remain unchanged, meaning every time it finds a new, let me explain that again. The first time it synchronizes between GiftWorks and Constant Contact, if it finds a donor in GiftWorks and that matching donor, that matching contact in Constant Contact, it will do nothing but ensure that the lists are up to date. The reason why you may want to choose this is either because you're not sure which one's the most reliable. You're not really sure which one to trust. And what you can do is, if you choose this bottom option, it will only synchronize the very basic information. What that will do is, over time, as information gets changed in Constant Contact or information gets changed in GiftWorks, then it will update. So if I just leave this, if I choose this bottom option, and then nothing other than email lists, nothing will be updated in GiftWorks or Constant Contact. It will stay the same. But if I make a change to a donor next week, then that donor's information, if it's the most recent, will be updated into Constant Contact. If Constant Contact information changes, perhaps someone changes their profile or changes some of the list subscriberships that they have, then it will be updated down into GiftWorks. So you can choose this option, frankly, if you're sort of afraid or you don't have a high level of confidence about which information should be used. This will allow the information to be done over time. Remember, this only applies if donors exist in GiftWorks and Constant Contact. So this only applies if you already have donors in Constant Contact and in GiftWorks. All these options, keep in mind, are only applicable as well if you're synchronizing all your fields. If you only synchronize email and lists, then the only valid option is the bottom one. All these other three choices only apply to that other information, not email and lists, but only name, address, phone, company information, and custom fields. We call that some of the biographical data. So I hope that I've been able to explain that a little bit clearly. You may need to, if you need to look at some of our documentation, we have something in our help, or if you need to just listen again, maybe rewatch that video. I know some of these options you'll have to think through to determine if you have the right choices made. Once I'm all set, once I'm pretty comfortable with my choices, I'm going to click on the next button at the bottom. And now I'm ready to connect GiftWorks and Constant Contact. And there's a summary that's given, tells you some information, summary information about Constant Contact, some summary information about your donors, and some other options that you've chosen. It also gives you a warning down here. Let me explain this warning. Some of you may see this and not really understand what it's talking about. If a donor, and this is just the way we had to design the synchronization between GiftWorks and Constant Contact, it gives you a warning that says there are 29 donors with duplicate email addresses. What that means is that there are donors in GiftWorks that share the very same email address. If that's the case, if two donors share the same email address, GiftWorks doesn't know what biographical data, meaning address, phone, company information, and custom fields. It doesn't know which one to use because it's ambiguous. You have two, or you might have 2, 3 donors that share the same email address. In the case where GiftWorks finds a donor that shares an email address with one or more donors, if they share it with one or more other donors, then it will only synchronize the basic information the minimal information that we need to synchronize, which is the lists. So keep that in mind. If you have donors that share the same email address and you're wondering why some information isn't being sent to Constant Contact, it's because one or more donors share email addresses. So keep that in mind as you're integrating between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on Connect GiftWorks and Constant Contact. When I'm finally ready, I've got all my options, I feel comfortable, I'm going to click Connect the two together. Now it's going to go through and it's going to go do a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to pull down all the contacts from Constant Contact. It's going to look at all your donors. It's going to take the options you've chosen and kind of resolve them. It's going to process them all. And you'll see it actually in just a moment, go through and process all my contacts and all my donors. And we'll see it. So now it's going through preparing contact information. It's taking all the options you've chosen to try to do what it needs to do. So it'll go through this. Now, if you have a lot of contacts or a lot of donors, this could take quite a while. If you have thousands and thousands, you may want to do this overnight. It might take hours for this to be able to complete. So keep that in mind as you're working with this, as you're timing it. You may just want to plan on giving it an extended period of time to do it. It goes pretty fast, but with thousands, it could take some time. So once it's all done, the synchronization is complete, and now I've successfully connected GiftWorks and Constant Contact. Now, I want to move on to showing you how you can now take advantage of the synchronization options and the connectivity, the integration between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. So to get started, I'm going to go over to a donor, and I'm going to look up Steve Faithful. And a couple things you're going to notice right away. First of all, you're going to notice a little Constant Contact section that's added in the About Steve Faithful, or the About the Donor section. You'll see under where it says Constant Contact, and it'll actually show you the lists that I'm in Constant Contact. So let me jump over to Constant Contact. Under my list, you remember I'm involved in I'm subscribed to the general interest list, the golf events, and the birthday wishes. If I go back to GiftWorks, I'm going to see that matches that list, and that's great. These are mailing lists. These are your Constant Contact mailing lists. Let me go over to the mailing list in GiftWorks, because one of the things that you're going to notice is that anytime you see mailing lists, there's going to be both GiftWorks mailing lists and Constant Contact mailing lists. Let me show you. If I go over to the mailing section and I go over to Manage Mailing Lists, I'm going to see that I have both my own GiftWorks mailing lists here, but I also see now Constant Contact mailing lists. So in here, we've kind of put them next to each other in GiftWorks so that the experience is pretty much the same. Let me go back and show you. Let me go back to my donor. So I'm back at Steve Faithful, and on the left-hand side, it says Add to Mailing List. I can simply add him, like I know that Steve's not in the Mike's special list. So I'm going to add him to the Mike's special list. And I'm actually going to remove him. Actually, I'll just add him first. I added him to Mike's special list, and you'll notice right below that it says Pending Synchronization. That means that a change has been made, but it's still not there in Constant Contact yet. If I were to refresh this, it's still not here yet because I haven't synchronized between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. It's pending synchronization. I can also just, let's say I want to remove him. He doesn't want to receive birthday wishes anymore. Yes, I removed him, and now I'm scheduled to be added to Mike's special list and removed from the birthday wishes. And I'm going to, now that I'm all set, let me quickly, now you wouldn't typically do what I'm going to do now, because you'd probably, you wait at the end of a day, at the end of a couple days, at the end of a week to synchronize between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. You may even only synchronize right before you go to send information out to a Constant Contact mailing, or before you do something inside of GiftWorks that you say, I really need to make sure that I have the latest information. But I would encourage most of you to synchronize on some regular basis. Under Constant Contact, I'm going to go back to Synchronize, and now we're at a synchronization screen. This synchronization screen, and I'm going to update in just a moment, but this synchronization screen just shows you the last time GiftWorks and Constant Contact were synced or synchronized together, and provides you some basic information here. On the right-hand side, we do have some links. In the event that you have to change your Constant Contact password, you can update your Constant Contact password here. Or if you maybe change your custom field and you want to change the mappings of those, you can do that here as well. And you can even update lists. So if you want to change list options and things like that, you can do that here. Well, I'm ready now to synchronize between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. And remember, we're expecting one donor to be synchronized. And so I'm going to click Update now. All right, I'm going to see it go through. You're going to notice in 1 second it's going to say processing donor 1 of 1, and now synchronization is complete. Let's head over to Constant Contact and see what happened in Constant Contact. So if I click over here and I go down to lists, now I see Steve has been removed from the birthday wishes and added to Mike's special list. So we see how information can be changed in terms of the list in the subscribership that you have, that your donors have in different lists, and how you can manage the subscribership or their subscriptions to different lists right from GiftWorks. If I go back, and now I also, let me just modify Steve again, and I add him back to, let's say, the birthday wishes, and click OK. Great, and I go back to my settings, and I'm going to sync it again, synchronize it again. Now I'll just quickly update it. And then we're going to go back to Constant Contact as soon as this is done. And there we go. Just did one. Synchronization complete. Come back here. Go to a different page and come right back. Now we see that Steve's subscribed to all the lists. And that's great. I can manage the information right within GiftWorks. I can also, if I want to go back to GiftWorks, let's go back and just change some other information. So let's edit Steve. And we're going to change his, let's say, job title. So let's go down to job title. We'll just call him the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer. Great. And I'm also going to see what else I can change. I'll also add his middle initial and click Save. Now I click Save. I'm going to go over to Settings, and I am going to go back to Additional Settings and Tools under Constant Contact, Synchronize, and I'm going to synchronize this. So I've made some changes on the GiftWorks side. So whether it's subscriptions to lists, or it's other biographical data, you're going to modify that information, and the synchronization is now complete. Now I'm going to go back to Constant Contact, and I'll go under his contact information, see that we've added his middle initial, company, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer has been added, and the lists remained the same. Now that's great, I can do it from GiftWorks, but what about Constant Contact? Well, let's go to Constant Contact, and let's put his whole middle name is, so C-H, there you go, it's my middle name. And I'm going to come down to, I could add an address like we'll do 100 Main Street in Lancaster, PA, and I'll put in 17603. And I'll click on Save. And I'll also give him a slight promotion. And so we'll just call him, we'll just say Chief Server. I guess I'm not sure if that's a promotion, but we'll say Chief Server, click Save, and now we're ready to go over to GiftWorks and click on, I'm going to just go back, here we go, Synchronize, and I'll just say Update Now again. So we're updating this information. Once again, you should see the one donor is being updated. Great, it's all set. I'm going to go over to donors. I'm going to look up Steve again. We should see that now under his contact info, we should see his full name. So Steve Christopher Faithful. Let me edit it. It might be a little bit easier to see edited. His middle is Christopher there. If I scroll down to his job title, we see an address here that's been added. 100 Main Street is added. It's been added there. And if I come down to job title, I see Chief Server. So we can see how information either on GiftWorks side or on the Constant Contact side gets changed. It gets updated in both places, and that's really what we want to see with the integration. A couple notes about the Constant Contact side. For those of you who have been using Constant Contact and are aware, you know that you could either come and change information here in Constant Contact, and that will get updated, or your email recipients themselves can update their information. Let me see if I can send something. Let me just go find an email real quick. I have this email right here. This was an email, it's just a test email sent to my recipient, steve.faithful@giftworksconnect.com. And you'll notice Constant Contact, if you're familiar with it, you can either remove yourself from unsubscribe from a list, or you can update your profile or email address. If I click on that, it's going to have me go through a process where I need to check out my mail, but hold on one second. There we go. I just got an email, and they're asking me if this is a Constant Contact email that says you can update your profile. So you know that your recipients can also modify their own profile information. So you see, they can either say, maybe I don't want to be in the birthday wishes, I don't want to be in golf events. Mike's special list, you don't see that here because that's not a published list. So if you're familiar with Constant Contact, you don't have to publish all your lists. So let's say the person just unsubscribes from the golf events. That's great. And they can also, I got a promotion now. I am the chief architect. Great. And click Save Profile Changes now. Okay, they want a organization names. I'll just say GiftWorks. There you go. Great. So it's been updated now. So that was the recipient. That was actually your donor in this case, updating their own profile information. If I go back and I look at this information, we're going to see it should, under company information, great, chief architect, it's been updated. Under lists, we see that they took themselves off the golf events. So your information can either be modified by you in Constant Contact, or even your recipients, your contacts in Constant Contact can update their own profile information. And now, if I go back to GiftWorks and I synchronize it, let me go back to the Constant Contact synchronization. And if I click on Update Now, I'll see that the information has been updated from the donor through Constant Contact now down into GiftWorks. If we go here, let's just check it all out, make sure it all worked properly. Great, we see that they're all off the golf list. Hopefully we'll see that their job title, I think their job title's been updated now to Chief Architect. Great, right inside of GiftWorks. So you can see all the different ways that the information gets changed and how it gets synchronized in all the different places. So GiftWorks and Constant Contact are really staying in synchronization, so you don't have to do all this work to be able to keep them in sync. There's some other things that I want to show you in terms of the integration between Constant Contact. Let's go back to our donors to check it out. So to see some of the benefits that you get from integrating GiftWorks and Constant Contact, let me go look at a specific donor. I'm going to double click on this donor right here. And I'm going to go click on the Social tab. The Social tab is a brand new tab that we've added in GiftWorks 2013. And at the top, you'll see this Constant Contact section. This Constant Contact section shows you specific Constant Contact activity for this donor and their email address. Right now, I'm viewing what's called a summary. This summary just provides kind of an overview of the activity for this donor and their email address. So you'll see that this donor was included in 3 Constant Contact email campaigns, and it lists the specific campaigns that they were included in. The July newsletter, the Give Campaign 2012, and the June newsletter. It even provides other information, things like this email was not opened and not forwarded, and no links in the email were clicked. It also says that this email, the Give Campaign 2012, this email was opened but wasn't forwarded, and then one link was clicked in the email. So it provides you some kind of helpful information about the activity for this donor through Constant Contact. Over here on the right-hand side, to perhaps drill down into more specific information, right now I'm viewing the summary, but I could view just the bounces for this donor. So perhaps if there was emails that were undeliverable to this donor at some point. And it's really, just to keep in mind, it's based on their current primary email address is really what it's looking up. So it would view bounces for that email address, or opt-outs, meaning opportunities that they took to opt out of one of your lists. View opens, that is emails that they've opened or all the emails they've been sent. So if I drill down into sends, I I see the specific emails they've been sent and what day and what date and time. I can also view what emails they've clicked on, so the specific emails that they actually responded to in some way, meaning by click, and then times that they forwarded your email on to others. And so right within the context of a donor, you can see the constant contact activity, first of all, so that you don't have to kind of switch over to constant contact and look it up, but also so that you can just right as you're looking at the donor, get a real sense of how you've been communicating with them through your email campaigns. Another benefit that I'd like to show you of the integration between GiftWorks and Constant Contact we can find in our settings area. So I'm going to go to the settings area under Additional Settings and Tools. Under Additional Settings and Tools, I'm going to click on Constant Contact, and then I'm going to click the View Email Campaigns link. And when I do that, GiftWorks is going to go out and pull back the results of your recent email campaigns through Constant Contact. And so now I see this list of recent Constant Contact email campaigns. I think it pulls the last either 30 or 60 days of Constant Contact campaigns, and you'll see them. You'll see the title of the campaign here at the top. So I have my July newsletter, my Give campaign, my June newsletter. And if I keep scrolling within each of these little sections, it's going to also show me the count of the number of emails sent, the number of ones that bounced, how many spam reports there were, how many opted out, number of opens, clicks, and forwards. And so you can kind of see that summary information. Now you can see this information over in Constant Contact as well, but one of the benefits that we give you in GiftWorks is you'll notice that this number right here under bounces becomes a hyperlink, becomes a link once there is some bounces for a specific campaign. So for this campaign, which is called This Is a Cool Campaign, it said there were 6 emails sent out, and of that, 3 of them bounced. And I can click on this link right here, which I'm going to do right now. And what we give you the ability to do is process your bounced email addresses, or bounced emails. So whenever you send out a campaign, some of those emails may bounce. And by bounce, I simply mean the fact that they were undeliverable for a number of different reasons. And you'll notice that I have, for this campaign, I had 3 bounced emails. And GiftWorks will provide you some of the basic information around why it bounced. And this is what's coming from Constant Contact. Constant Contact provides GiftWorks with the information regarding why it bounced. It may be a non-existent address. That typically would mean that it would be a bad address. And there's other reasons GiftWorks can provide you, like it was undeliverable for some reason. Maybe their mailbox was full. Maybe they have an email block in place, things like that. It'll also show you how many donors are currently using this email address, how many donors are currently using it. Remember, let me just place this in context again. I'm looking at emails that were sent as a result of a campaign that bounced for one reason or another. You'll notice at the top it says, please note that these bounced emails were from an email campaign sent 95 days ago. Typically, you're going to want to review a campaign, the results of a campaign, meaning the bounces of a campaign, pretty soon after you send the email out, maybe even within a week. You could do it less than that. But because I'm looking at email addresses that were sent out that over time in GiftWorks may get corrected, whenever I pull up this campaign, I will see all the emails that bounced, even if they've been corrected since then. So just remember, you're looking at all the emails that bounced for that campaign, not necessarily that they've been addressed yet in GiftWorks. But I do see in here that this email address at the time was a non-existent address. It does say that one donor is still using this email address. Now, if this time is pretty reasonable, meaning if this 95 days is definitely excessive, it's definitely possible that this email address could now be current. It could mean that perhaps some reasons that it did bounce have been corrected since then. So just keep that in mind in terms of time sensitivity. But I do want to, let's pretend for the sake of this screen that this wasn't 95 days, this was just maybe a couple days ago. And you have a reasonable sense of confidence that this is still a bad email address. Well, you're going to want to do something about that. You're going to want to correct this email. And the only way you're going to be able to correct it is probably by contacting the donor to find out what their correct email address is. But you don't want it to remain in GiftWorks unaddressed. And so there's a couple ways you can handle it. There's a couple actions that you can perform for an email address that is invalid for one reason or another, or I should say that bounced. You may want to update the email address, or you may want to delete the email address. And let's do both of those scenarios. So I see for Ann at Comcast.net, it says it's a non-existent address. And I believe it's an invalid address. So for her, I am going to update her email address. And you ask, what am I going to update for her email address? Well, at the bottom, it provides me the options for updating my email addresses. So for her, and how I'm going to deal with her bounced email is I could choose to either leave the email address as the primary email address and to prepend the email address name with the word invalid. I'm going to change this actually bad email. And so what I'm going to do for her and any other person that I choose to say update the email address, it will leave the email address as a primary email address, but prepend it, that is, place before the email address name the word bad email, the phrase bad email. Remember, this is the email address name, not the email address itself. You have other options here too. You could also kind of demote the email address, mean change it from a primary to an informational email address if I'd like. And in that case, I could leave the email address unchanged as well. But in this case, I'm going to prepend it, and I'm going to change it right back to leave email address as primary email address. And you could, as I look at these options, you can choose different ones that perhaps get it to a situation where you can address it the best. And so I'm going to show you one way of a way that you can handle it. So I'm going to leave the email address as a primary email address, so it will still be Ann's primary email address, but I am going to prepend it with the term bad email. And now, but for this other one down here, I'll see that for the second one, Blaine at gwalk.com, 0 donors are currently using this email address. So nobody in GiftWorks is using it, so there's really nothing that you need to do. The only thing it's telling you now is it's providing you information that at the time this campaign was sent, that it bounced. But now, since no other donors are using it, which probably happened that no donors are currently using it because someone has corrected it in the meantime, and so now that donor has a different email address. But for this last one, this is undeliverable. I'm actually going to delete the email address because I just want to just kind of get it out of there. So we see I'm updating one, we're ignoring one, and we're deleting one. And I'm going to click on Finish, and it's going to process those. And so and we'll go look up how we can kind of process, especially for this Ann, how we can process her email, her bad email. So I'm going to click on Finish, and now it's gone ahead and processed that. Now I'm going to go look up this donor. I know Ann. I'm going to click Go, and I'm going to find Ann, and I'm going to see that under her contact information, her email name was prepended with the phrase bad email, and I see that that has occurred. And so now I want to kind of work with it because I can go in and edit this donor, and I can just simply scroll down and find her bad email and modify it. Now, if I had a number of ones, perhaps if I had 50 different emails bounce and I mark them all as bad email, you probably will want to get to them a little different way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Smart List, and I'm going to create a new Smart List. And I'm going to show all donors whose under email info, under their partial email name, that it says bad email asterisk. And the asterisk just is a wild card. It says show me anybody that has that in there, that has that beginning with bad email. So I'm going to click on Next, and I see Ann at the bottom now. And I click on Next, and I can simply say this is my bad email list, and I can click Save. Now I see that I would see one or more donors that have that, and I'm going to customize this just so we can see. Scroll down, show her email name and her email. Click OK. That way you could see all the donors and their email addresses that were bad with the prepended text of bad email. Now I can right-click and just say Edit Ann if I'd like. I can scroll down. Perhaps I've called her right now, and I said, Ann, what's your proper email address? And she says, oh, it's Annie at Comcast.net. And I'm going to remove this now. I want to take that bad email out because it's now been corrected. I can click Save. Now in coming back to this Smart List, this bad email list, she's not here any longer. And so I can always sort of use my bounced management in the settings area to ensure that I've kind of properly updated all my bounces. Now if I go back here now at this point, let this load up and scroll down under my bounces. I'm going to click on here again, and now I see that at the time Ann at Comcast did bounce, but currently 0 donors are using this email address. Great. So I don't have anything to deal with, and I see that for all my bounced email addresses inside of Constant Contact. And so that's an easy way of managing the bounces that occur as a result of sending out emails through Constant Contact. Well, the last thing I'd like to show you about the integration between GiftWorks and Constant Contact is actually how to turn it off. At some point, you may need to turn off GiftWorks and Constant Contact integration, and you may need to do it for one of two reasons. The first may be that you're actually done using Constant Contact. Perhaps you don't use them as an email service provider anymore, and you no longer have to have GiftWorks and Constant Contact together. Or perhaps you may need to change some of the core synchronization options that we selected when we first synchronized GiftWorks and Constant Contact together. Some settings are not able to be changed without going through the configuration process again. So for one of those two reasons, either you're not using Constant Contact anymore, or you need to change some of the core options related to the synchronization between GiftWorks and Constant Contact. If that's the case, you can come right back to the synchronization screen, click on this link at the bottom which says click here to stop using Constant Contact. It'll provide you with a little bit of a warning, and you can click yes. Now, bear in mind, no contacts and no donors will be deleted. You will not be deleting any information. You will just be kind of disconnecting GiftWorks and Constant Contact. Then, if you're not using Constant Contact anymore, you can just leave and you don't have to do anything. But if you need to change some of the options, you can just go ahead and put back in your Constant Contact information. And you can verify your list options there, and then verify your synchronization options. So choose the options now that you want. And I can click on Next and click on Connect, and it's going to connect them together. As that's connecting together, I just want to quickly say that, first of all, we hope that you find the GiftWorks and Constant Contact integration helpful, as you have, perhaps some of you who have already been managing GiftWorks and Constant Contact separately. We hope certainly this synchronization and this connectivity will save you time, save you energy as you seek to keep both of those sets of information up to date. For those of you who aren't using anything, would encourage you to check out something like Constant Contact, an email service provider, and because we integrate with Constant Contact, we certainly would recommend that you check it out. For some of you who may not be using Constant Contact, who really would like to use a different email service provider, at this time, Constant Contact is the only email service provider we integrate with, but we've built GiftWorks in such a way that we hope to support other email service providers in the future. Well, this synchronization is done. I can click on Finish. Now I've synced them, I've connected them both together, and I'm ready to continue on with my GiftWorks and Constant Contact. So I want to thank you for taking time to watch this video. Thank you for taking time to check out GiftWorks and Constant Contact. We hope that not only this integration helps you and the things that you need to do within your organization, but we also wish you the best in your mission. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.